Martin Peterson, how the practice has been going, man?
Good. Everybody's looking sharp. Everybody's healthy. So looking forward to a big game tomorrow night.
All right. Coach Lem wrote a letter to the editor a few years ago begging for this game. He wanted to start the season against the Comets. The town separated, by the schools separated by 5-6 miles. Natural rivalry. Harder to find quality games close by than it used to be. It just seemed like a perfect match. And it felt like, this is before your time, but it felt like Jonesville, for whatever reason, was kind of dragging their feet on that a little bit. And I talked to Kathy about it, and she said that wasn't true, that they had other arrangements with teams, and you do have contracts that you have to honor. Well, here we go. Okay, it's playoff game last year. Hornets pulled it out in a decently competitive game. And now here we are with a regular season showdown. I love it. I think it's perfect. High school sports is about the kids having great experiences, and you can't have a better experience than playing a crosstown rival like Jonesville. I think it's awesome, and I know you do too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, part of the reason why Coach Lem wrote the letter was because we were driving up to, Saginaw Valley in the first week, going all these places just to try to find a game when we're like, hey, there's a competitive school right next to us. Why don't we play them? So, and it's especially fun for us players because we know a lot of those guys, and we hang out with these guys, and it's just fun, and I feel like it should bring the community together, just at kind of one place, and everybody just enjoy. I mean, it's high school football. I mean, we're just there to have a good time, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for that 48 minutes during the game tomorrow night, you won't be buddies, but then after that, it's completely cool.
Right.
I think that's changed a little bit. I think social media has cut down the distance between some of these towns. When I played, we weren't best buddies with a guy who was over at Pittsford, I can tell you that. But, now that you can get on an Instagram or a Facebook or a Twitter or whatever the case may be, and you do get to know these guys a little bit, it is a little bit of a different dynamic. But make no mistake, I think the fact that the kids from Jonesville and Hillsdale know each other, I just think that means they want to beat each other even more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we always kind of want the upper hand on the other guys, so when we see them after this game, like, hey, remember that one day?
And Chris Adams, and Chris Adams, who coached my kids in youth sports, I mean, he always really kindled that Hillsdale-Jonesville rivalry. He always said, you don't lose to Jonesville guys. It just isn't something that you do. And, my kids have that mentality right now, and they're just kids.
Oh, yeah.
And going through a couple years of varsity sports at Hillsdale, I'm sure you learned that too, and I'm sure they're learning the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants to lose to them, whether it's basketball, football, or baseball. I think that's always, a big game on everybody's schedule. So, you always want the upper hand, and, that's what a rivalry is. When you have two competitive schools going at it, and you always want to win.
MP's the quarterback of the Hornets. Their opener is tomorrow night up at Jonesville. You started as a varsity quarterback as a sophomore. You've had, 10, 11 games now under your belt. Another year of camp, Custer, another year of off-season workouts and practices. How much more confident, how much better are you today than you were 1 year ago?
Well, I mean, I think I'm a lot better, just from a confidence standpoint, I think. Last year at this point, it was all really new for me. I was a little bit more nervous on this day than I am today. But, I think just everybody's a little bit more confident. I mean, I think, all of our returning starters, we have 10, 11 guys back on offense. Mm-hmm. I think that what we can do is something special this year. And I think everybody put in the hard work this past summer and this past spring. And I think we want to see it show on the field, so we're excited.
Who are some of the guys that Hornet fans are really going to be excited about this year?
Well, you got to talk about Pat, first of all. I mean, he was honorable mention All-State as a defensive player last year, and then All-Conference both ways. He's a very good right tackle and even better outside linebacker. So he's a big one you want to watch for. Another one is Kyle Bernard. The kid can run, and he's going to be a threat out of the backfield. And he's going to make guys miss, and he's dangerous back there. So another guy, Jake Schaffner, who is a transfer from Camden, he has good speed from the outside, so we're looking to get him the ball too as well.
Yeah, Schaffner's a good kid, and I wish him well. Anything different? Did Coach Lemeron tweak it between seasons as far as what you're doing offensively, or is it pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same.
Uh-huh.
We got pretty much the same stuff. We're going to do the same thing now. We're going to focus on what we do best. Not worry about the other team, but try to focus on our techniques. And
well, you just led me to my next question, which is you've been studying Jonesville. Obviously, you ran Scout-O. We don't have anybody from Jonesville here tonight, so I'm going to ask you, since you've seen their film, what are they doing offensively? What is their new coach, Joe Williamson, trying to put in for them?
Well, I think he's brought a lot of the same stuff back from Concord, but also a lot of stuff that they did last year, too. I think he's done a good job from what I saw on film. The guys look really good. And defensively, they look good. They look tough off the ball. So we're gonna have a test tomorrow night. They have some solid players, and we're gonna have to beat them to the ball.
The rumor mill, and you know how that goes around town, but they're multiple. And we talked to Joe Williamson 3-4 weeks ago on the show. He said we want to be multiple formation. They want to get out and try to outflank teams with formations and maybe confuse guys a little bit. And I know you guys have been studying your film to get ready for that. And it's always a cat and mouse game in that first scrimmage, especially with a new coach. He's new to Jonesville. I'm sure he's got some new tools in the toolbox. He's not going to show everything in the scrimmage that he's going to show tomorrow night. And he probably does some stuff different from Concord, so you have a little bit of the unknown there. Whereas Coach Lemmer on stuff, everybody knows pretty much what they're going to do. The problem is that you have to try to stop it.
Right.
And when you guys are executing, that's pretty hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, we know from what we saw is they like to do a lot of different stuff. So defensively is about what we can do to try to stop all their different formations and stuff. So that'll be tough. And from us, we're going to do what we do, and we're going to have to make them stop it, so we have to do something else. So
what's your routine tomorrow? Tomorrow's a weird day for you guys because it's a game where you don't have school. I mean, I think when you're at school, you actually have classes and responsibilities during the day, and the day might go a little bit faster. What's your schedule tomorrow on a day where you don't have school and a big game later on in the evening?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was kind of thinking about that. I think one of the biggest things for us is to not sleep until 11 o'clock in the morning. Get up, get the blood flowing, drink a lot of water. It's going to be hot tomorrow. And then we'll have a little pregame meeting around right before the game, and we'll head up there on the bus together as a team, and then we'll go up there and warm up, and 7 o'clock it's kickoff.
High school football, Friday Night Lights. I mean,
know.
This is what you sign up for if you're a high school kid. And last question for you, Martin, and we'll take a break and bring Rick in and talk Tigers. So many fewer kids around the county playing the game of football. It's a topic that I've had all fall. I talked to Joe Williamson about it. I talked last week to Coach Berger about it. I know Reading's numbers are down. Camden's numbers are down. A lot of teams have already gone to 8-man. I mean, you're a kid in the trenches and the hallways at Hillsdale High School. Has the perception of high school football changed? Maybe you don't have an idea of that because you weren't around 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. But how do kids feel about the game? Why do you think fewer kids are wanting to play it now than they used to?
Well, I know for a lot of kids, I think, one, it's a lot of commitment. So, I mean, I feel like if some kids don't really want to fully commit themselves to one thing, which there's no problem with that. Day in and day out, you're battling every single day during football season. So that might be a part of it. And then maybe because of new things have opened up that weren't there maybe 10 or 20 years ago, like maybe other fall sports or maybe new clubs or something in the school. So I don't know. But I do think that, maybe a little bit has to do with the concussion issues. Maybe I don't know if that's a little bit of a thing, but I don't think there's a huge problem with it. I mean, you can get concussion anyway. I mean, you can get concussion in basketball or baseball. So I
don't buy the concussion thing.
Do I.
But I know some parents do, and I'm not trying to dismiss anybody's opinion. It's just my opinion. I thought Mike Berger had about the best theory on this that I've heard, which is the state law that prevents school from starting until after Labor Day means that if you're playing football, you're going to school basically a month earlier than everybody else.
It's true. That is very true.
Right at the beginning of August, you've got conditioning and then practices, oftentimes twice a day. You guys do a camp, and you've got a game or sometimes two games before school even starts, which is weird. And a lot of kids think, man, I don't want to come to school a month before I have to do it. And I think as much as the concussion thing, I think Coach Berger might be onto something.
I think so too. I mean, I think that has a lot to do with like what I was saying about the commitment stuff.
Right.
Is like I don't think kids like you said, don't want to go to school a month early. They don't want to get up at 7:30 in the morning when they don't have to. So yeah, I think that could be a huge thing that plays into it.
I'll tell you what though, for the guys that do it,
so worth it.
It's so worth it.
It's so
worth it. Let me tell you something. You want to have 20 years from now, you ask Martin Peterson about the month of August in 2014, and the preparation and your time with these guys. And yeah, it's hard, but you're in it together with your brothers, and
Right.
it's, in a way, it's actually kind of cool. And then you talk to somebody that didn't do anything but slept in and watched Maury Povich and ate Fritos. Who's going to have the better, more vivid memories of their life? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is your life. And I just tell kids, you've got to live it to the max. And maybe for some kids, that's not football. Maybe it's something else. But don't just lay around. You know, you
Right.
get involved in something.
You only have 4 years of high school.
That's right. You got the rest of your life not to do football. I sound like I'm recruiting again. But for you guys that do it, let me tell you, they don't regret it.
Nope.
They'll never regret it, and they get a lot out of the game, that's for sure. Thanks for your perspective, Martin. Look forward to Hillsdale versus Jonesville tomorrow night right here on WCSR with Bob and Scott.